afternoon and welcome to the Middays on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kasmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Inspector General of Police leads a high-level security team to Solatuna Kalba district after deadly clashes claimed several lives and displaced hundreds. We're live in the area. Also coming up this afternoon, an urgent evacuation alert for people living along the Black and White Water following the opening of spillways of both the Bagri and Kompienga dams in Burkina Faso. And much later on the program, as Health Minister receives report on alleged medical negligence at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, we probe and ask more questions. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We begin in the Savannah region where the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tatayono, is leading a high-level security delegation to the Solatuna Kalba district following communal clashes that have claimed several lives. Three communities, Sola, Gwinyili and Giniri, have been thrown into chaos after violence erupted between factions in a land dispute, forcing many residents to flee. Fresh attacks broke out last night, prompting regional security officials to beef up their presence. Dozens of residents are now seeking refuge at the local police station and in nearby bushes. Police and military reinforcement teams have been deployed to beef up security and restore calm in the area. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Tatayono, as I just told you, is leading a team from the National Police Headquarters to further assess the security situation and engage with the chiefs, opinion leaders and other community leaders. This afternoon, the IGP and his team from the National Police Quarters are in the area to reinforce security. Mr. Ayono is also expected to meet chiefs, opinion leaders and representatives community in that community to discuss measures aimed at restoring peace. Christopher Mwako is our regional correspondent. He joins us live on the line. Chris, if you can tell us more about the scale of violence and the number of casualties so far.
Yes, so far we can confirm that some 10 persons have died as a result of the conflict. And like you rightly mentioned, the IGP and his team are already in the region. Currently, there is a RECTEC meeting ongoing. Then after the RECTEC meeting, the IGP and his team, including the RECTEC members, will be meeting with the king and overlord of the Kunda Kingdom, Yagonra Bikumuto Jewuswale the first, where some discussions will take place. Now, from there, the IGP is expected to meet some key stakeholders and opinion leaders in the area before leaving the area. But one thing, Beatrice, is that security has been beefed up in the Gwinyili enclave. More police personnel, more military personnel have since been deployed to the area. As we speak, the commander in charge of the Northern Command of the Ghana Armed Forces is already in the Gwinyili area, also interacting with the people and ensuring that some level of security is maintained in the area.
If you can confirm again to us the number of casualties, those unfortunately dead and those injured.
Yes, so we have some 10 persons who unfortunately lost their lives. We are told there could be more because they are still making some assessments. But as for the injured, we have so far lost count of the injured persons because some of them are actually sent to different health facilities around the Upper West region, others around Kulumasa, others at the Kalba Health Center, and some of them at the Sola Government Hospital. And so we're unable to tell the numbers, but there are more people who have suffered from gunshot wounds as a result of the conflict.
Indeed, and Chris, you just confirmed to us that the military command in that area or in the region is already there, kind of supplementing the work of the police. But are you able to tell us how residents are responding to the whole situation?
Yes, you know that most of these communities have been deserted already. And I can tell you, Beatrice, that even this morning, some communities are being touched. And so the police and military are intensifying their operations in the area. Like I keep saying, this is something that has escalated from the main Biniri community where the incident started. Now, other communities are bearing the brunt of the conflict. So there are reprisal attacks in other communities around the Biniri area. So that is how severe it is. Beatrice, let me also add that women and children are suffering the brunt of this conflict, because as of yesterday, late in the night, most of them were still walking in the bushes trying to find their way to the roadside to get vehicles and move away from the conflict area.
Quite a volatile and disturbing situation in that part of the country. But Chris, do we know whether security officials have been able to arrest anybody, those leading these violent confrontations?
So far, what we can confirm is that some weapons have been seized. As for whether or not some persons have been arrested, the police have not given us that briefing yet. We've tried to establish contact with them. They said once the IGP is in town, the IGP will be doing the briefing. But what we do know is that some of the residents have also complained that their weapons have been seized by the security operatives in the area.
Even ahead of that, have you had any word, or has the IGP given any word regarding assurances on the timelines his men will be able to bring or restore calm to these communities? So
far, what has been briefed about the conflict by the regional minister is how they can intensify security. He has already told the regional minister that some police deployments have been made to beef up security in the area, and once he's in the region to assess the situation, based on the briefings he'll be receiving, if there is a need for him to deploy more security to the area, he will do just that.
Thank you very much, Christopher Mwakon, for that comprehensive update. And he is our correspondent for the Northern and Savannah regions. The District Chief Executive for Solatuna Kalba, Saka Sinkina, has described the situation as unfortunate.
Vehicles are being run away, people are running, women and children have been displaced, a lot of persons are leaving the town to down south. Yes, it's an unfortunate development, and there is the urgent need to do something. All these people you can see are people waiting for cars at the Solar police station, trying very hard to run away. A lot of displaced people, and there is the need to put in urgent measures to calm the situation. It is a very sad situation. Very, very sad situation.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, we need more security men. You can see people displaced, people who doesn't know their whereabouts. Means of transport, people are stranded. A lot of, you can see children. It is a very sad situation. Most of them have not eaten since morning. They are stranded. The police station is choked to capacity. People have not eaten. There are no sleeping places. Though a lot of military men have been displaced, most of them, women and children. It is a very bad situation. Some are inside the bush, most of them. It is not a pleasant situation. Conflict, indeed, is not a pleasant situation. More deployment have been done, and you can see the police just searching through a vehicle to find out what is inside the vehicle. All these people who are willing, standing by the roadside, looking for cars, pass away. It's a terrible situation. It's a terrible situation.
Quite a disturbing situation indeed in the Savannah regions. 3 communities engulfed in this conflict. 10 people dead so far, with several others injured. If you are watching us on Facebook, we're showing you the images as the DCE was talking with dozens of people, if not hundreds, in these communities stranded, some making their way into the bush. You can go back to that Facebook video and watch the entirety of it. But you heard that the District Chief Executive for the Solatuna Kalbasaka Sinkina there speaking to us earlier. Now, the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau says it has managed to foil multiple aircraft crashes, disputing claims that the Bureau is only active when accidents occur. Approval has also been granted for the Bureau to be part of the ongoing probe into the recent Z9 helicopter crash, although it does not normally investigate military aircraft. At a media briefing on the Bureau's role and mandates, the Commissioner, John Imboti, outlined its responsibilities, contributions to the aviation safety, and the importance of its work in strengthening the aviation sector. George Quaining is at that press conference. He joins us live on the phone now. George, what more can you tell us?
Thank you so much, Beatrice, for having me. Like you rightly mentioned, the Bureau met the press after the accumulation to the Z9 helicopter crash.
I'm sorry, George, if you can reposition yourself because we can hardly hear you.
Is it better?
Excellent. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so like you rightly mentioned, the Bureau met the journalist today. This is in line with the recent Z9 helicopter crash. So the board has been set to investigate this very matter, and members from the board have been given some sort of time to finish this very investigation. But one thing is, the Bureau doesn't investigate military aircraft, but with this very one, they've gotten approval from the defense ministry, so it's the reason they are part of this very investigation. So what they're also urging is the fact that recommendations that they give, they're going to ensure that they go through the latter to ensure these recommendations are implemented. So there are times where reports are issued, people don't really do anything with the recommendations, but this one they're going to make sure that it's done. But they've also questioned this thoughts.
I'm sorry, we'll have to cut that line to George Quaining because it's not so clear, but we can hear the Commissioner speaking earlier.
We don't investigate military aircrafts until we get approval from the sector minister. When we get approval from the sector minister, it's not as if we are supposed to go and lead the investigation. All over the world, nobody, it is only the military that does their own investigation. The military does their own investigation. And so we don't do it. But then, when they invite us to use our expertise, when the military invites us to use our expertise, we join them to do investigation, but we don't lead the investigation. Because of our expertise, they also have investigators among them. And so they do them, but any time there's the need, there's an incident, then they invite AIB to support them in the investigation. And that is where you need the minister's approval to do that.
Well, Mr. Imboti also spoke about how this incident must change national policy on aviation incidents.
After the investigation, you do what recommendations, and out of this recommendation, when there's the need for reforms, then you do those reforms. But until then, you cannot just say we need reform because an accident happened. You wait until the investigations are done. When the investigations are carried out, then you then look at the reforms that may come or you need to take. It's not about the same untouchable. Like I said, the military has, or the military, they also have their own investigators amongst them. And most of the time when we organize our trainings, we invite them and they join us. And anytime they also do have their training, they invite us. And so all over the world, the military aircrafts are investigated by the military. It is not only in Ghana, for obvious reasons, because of the security nature of their job, and also because they have the expertise. It is only when they feel that, look, what has happened, we need AIB, they have more superior expertise, then they invite us.
And you heard the acting commissioner of the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau, John Imbote. Security analyst Dr. Victor Doka says the 1 month timeline given for the investigations into the Z9 helicopter crash was carefully considered and is realistic. He adds that as the probe progresses, new issues may emerge and those involved will be invited for interrogation.
Before the committee will come out with a statement regarding the length or period of the investigations and whatever that they have to do, they have already discussed at the background with regards to how long they think it will take. And with all these aspects, with their various experiences and various skills with regards to what has happened, they obviously knew that the 1 month period they can meet that deadline, and they came out with that directive. If not, they would have proposed 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. But once they have met with a formal statement, then it means they can meet that deadline. One, they're thinking about, with regards to what happened, issues of consideration further on what really went wrong. Is it the aspect of a mechanical failure or the issue about the human error or a natural phenomenon like the weather and all of that? Now, aside that, there seems to be a wide range of issues to tackle, i.e. the institutional aspect also will come in.
And you heard that security analyst Dr. Victor Doka. Meanwhile, Associate Professor of Aviation and Aerospace Services Kwasi Adu has urged the public to remain patient as investigations continue into the August 6th helicopter crash.
Craft itself, it's the various components, the engine make, the aircraft type, the number of hours that the aircraft has flown, the last time it was maintained, all those are factual. Air traffic, communication, whether it was under surveillance, would look at things like the weather that prevailed at that particular point until the last known interaction between the crew and air traffic controller. So these are established where the occurrence took place. And then the investigator would let us know that the process is still ongoing. There is no particular time bar because what is happening is that the preliminary investigation team has been to the field. They've done their preliminary field assessment or analysis. They've looked at the wreckage, operators themselves, what was the state of mind? And that normally comes by looking at things like fatigue.
And you had the Associate Professor of Aviation and Aerospace Services, Kwasi Adu. Some 18 minutes past the hour of 12 here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. When we come back, we'll tell you more about a 3-member committee set up to investigate the incident that occurred on the 13th of April at the Tamale Teaching Hospital regarding an alleged medical negligence. Don't go away.
Ghana, it's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596-920-833 or 0302-200-390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Midday News on Shri FM 92.7. Thank you for staying. Now, a three-member committee set up to investigate the incident that occurred on the 13th of April at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, which resulted in the death of a patient, has submitted the report to the health minister after months of investigation. You recall that an incident occurred at the hospital a month ago, and we do understand that there was an altercation between the Minister of Health and a worker at the hospital, which also coincidentally led to the sacking of the hospital CEO. Sarah Apenko is on our health desk. She joins us live on the line. Sarah, what do you know about this report, which was submitted, I believe, some hours ago?
Well, Beatrice rightly said, we understand it took the committee 2 months to actually finalize their investigations and come up with this 39-page document, which have today been handed over to the health minister. We were not able to get the content of the report or recommendations that have been made to which the minister is expected to effect action. But he said he was going to look through the report and look at the recommendations and take it from there. Indeed, today we were expected to, the minister was actually expected to receive 2 reports, one on the Tamale incident and that of the Ridge Hospital incident. But unfortunately, that particular report submission has been postponed and scheduled for tomorrow. So this is what has happened currently here at the Health Ministry. The report document has been submitted to him, and then we are waiting to hear the findings in it.
Thank you very much. Sarah Pinko is with our health desk. Let's take a focus now. Let's focus now on Akwatia, because Election Watch Ghana has expressed grave concerns about what it describes as excessive police deployment to Akwatia for next week's by-election, warning it risks undermining the electoral process. In a press statement, the Election Monitoring Group also recommended strict adherence to accreditation for all political actors who will be within the inner parameters of the various polling stations on the election day. Again, Election Watch Ghana is urging security agencies to ensure there is thorough screening of all electoral officials, party representatives and voters who will be entering the polling station premises on the election day, as you know, scheduled for the 2nd of September. And we'll bring you some more on that. And still on Akwatia, the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachofosu, has expressed confidence that the National Democratic Congress will secure victory in the upcoming Akwatia by-election. He says that the party is determined to honor the late Defense Minister and NDC's Director of Elections and IT, Dr. Edward Omanebuama, who he says before his passing spearheaded strategies aimed at strengthening the NDC's electoral gains despite its 2/3 majority in Parliament. Mr. Felix Kwachofosu was speaking to the media on the sidelines of President Mahama's state visit to Singapore.
We all miss Dr. Manibuama. Indeed, we do know that before he passed, rather unceremoniously and so tragically, he had begun to lay down the blockworks for resounding victory in Akwatia. So in his memory, we will carry out the plans as he laid out, and we'll build upon it. We'll add more impetus to it and ensure that we fine-tune it to deliver victory for us in Akwatia, so that the same benefits that all constituencies that are being properly represented in Parliament are derived will be derived by the people of Akwatia. So we are confident of victory.
And he had Felix Kwachofosu. He is the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, speaking from Singapore, where he's currently with the President, who is on a state visit to that country. Let's go to Akwatia now. Yvonne Nekwe is our correspondent in the Eastern region. She joins us live on the line. Yvonne, just 1 week to the election, I can imagine how intensified campaigns are, but what specifically can you tell us in the final countdown to the by-election on the ground?
Which is rightly so. Today will be exactly a week when the residents of Akwete, about 54,000 of them, will be expected to go to the polls to elect an MP for the area. As I speak to you, of course, the political activities have intensified. We're seeing more of door-to-door community gathering, targeting individuals across the constituency, hoping that their message gets well to them. We know that this particular constituency is a swing constituency after the 2012 election, when it was separated from the former Kede district and then now under the Denchambon district. And so it's too close to call this particular election for any of the parties involved. It would be determined by a lot of factors, either external factors on the national front or even the local politics happening in this particular community, which is a mining one. So far, the area has been peaceful. We're just hoping that this peace will be maintained by those who go to the polls, the police people who have also intensified their visibility, and the electoral commission will be seen through to ensure that any ballot that is being cast will be counted as it were.
Thank you very much, Yvonne Ekwe, bringing us updates ahead of the Akwete by-election scheduled for exactly next week, the 2nd of September. Now, President John Mahama has revealed that trade between Ghana and Singapore reached $215 million in 2024, with projections of a further growth in the coming years through increased investment. Addressing government leaders and business executives at the 8th Africa-Singapore Business Forum in that country on Tuesday, President Mahama said that the trend signals new opportunities for Ghana and the West African region as the country looks to open its ties with Asia.
Africa and Singapore must be champions of open markets, trusted rules, trade rules, and practical partnerships that deliver jobs, technology transfer, and shared prosperity for our people. Africa and Asia are the two youngest, fastest urbanizing regions of the world, and the numbers tell a clear story. Africa-Singapore trade rose by 50% between 2020 and 2024 to nearly $14 billion, with West Africa accounting for more than half of that. Ghana-Singapore trade has also grown, reaching over $215 million in 2024 alone. I speak today as an African leader and as President of Ghana. And our message is simple. Africa is investable, and Ghana is your reliable gateway to that continent. When I say it's a gateway, it really is. Ghana, if you look at the map of Africa, Ghana is like a little dog, on that map.
Well, the president further said that despite Africa being a global leader in mobile money and fintech, the continent continues to struggle with limited access to capital.
We're 1.4 billion people, young, fast urbanizing, digitally connected, rapidly growing middle class, and Africa's cities will host more than 700 million consumers by 2030. The African Continental Free Trade Area is the largest new free trade area in the world by number of countries, and this creates a $3.4 trillion market and lowered barriers across supply chains on the continent. Africa holds vast renewable energy potential and is already a global leader in mobile money and fintech adoption. This is a market ready for skilled solutions. Yet this opportunity must be matched with capital at the right price and with the right instruments. As the African Union champion on financial institutions, I must be candid. The current global financial architecture remains inequitable for low and middle income countries.
And I had the President John Mahama speaking from Singapore. And that's it for the news here on 3FM and 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us on the Midday News. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good afternoon.
92.7. Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
And hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obudu. Coming up, Ghana cedi crosses 11 cedis to the dollar as commercial banks cite strong demand and limited supply. Will bring you details. Also, Ghana attracts $651.7 million investment in 2024 despite 5% decline in foreign direct inflows. We'll bring you details of the latest GIPC report. And President John Dramani Mahama sets ambitious target of expanding Ghana-Singapore bilateral relations to billion-dollar levels as trade surpasses $215 million in 2024. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Ghana cedi has crossed the 11 Ghana cedi mark against the US dollar as checks reveal banks quoting between 11 and 11 cedis 30 pesos, with forex bureaus selling even higher at 12 cedis 20 pesos. The development comes despite assurances from the Bank of Ghana that reserves remain strong and that the recent pressures are being fueled largely by speculative demand. This report has the details.
The Ghana cedi has breached the 11 Ghana cedi mark to the US dollar at commercial banks. Some banks are selling the dollar as high as 11 Ghana cedis 3 pesos, while others are quoting 11 Ghana cedis. This is above the Bank of Ghana's official rate of 10 Ghana cedis 9 pesos and far lower than forex bureaus, which are selling around 12 Ghana cedis 2 pesos. Commercial banks say the recent pressure is due to limited dollar supply from the central bank, coupled with strong demand from businesses importing for the Christmas season and others seeking to hedge against future scarcity. Data shows that earlier this month, banks demanded over $300 million through forex auctions, but only $100 million was supplied. Forward sales also declined sharply in July, with the central bank absent from the market on some auction days for the first time in March. Despite the volatility, Data Bank research notes that the cedi still remains Africa's best performing currency this year, appreciating by about 36% against the dollar. The Bank of Ghana has acknowledged the recent pressures but rejected claims of a dollar shortage, insisting that reserves remain sufficient. Officials say some of the demand is speculative and interventions will continue to be guided by data rather than the market sentiment.
And that was the 3 Business News Desk report. Now, Ghana's investment climate remained resilient in 2024, attracting over $651 million in new investments, even as the overall value of foreign direct investments slipped slightly. That's according to the Ghana Investment Promotion Centre's latest report, which shows strong project growth, rising domestic participation, and sustained investor confidence despite global economic headwinds. There is more in this report.
The Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, says the country secured a total of $651.7 million in investments in 2024, made up of $617.6 million in foreign direct investment and $34 million in local contributions. Although the value of inflows fell by about 5% compared to 2023, investor appetite remained strong, with 140 projects registered, an 11% increase over the previous year. The services sector led the way, attracting $281.6 million, while manufacturing followed with $220.6 million and topped in project count. Flagship investments during the year included Atlantic Terminal Services, a $276.9 million Dutch-Ghanaian joint venture in port logistics, and Julidyne Ghana Corporation, a Chinese apparel firm expected to create more than 600 jobs. China accounted for the highest number of projects, while the Netherlands contributed the largest investment value. The report notes that the 2024 projects will generate over 15,000 jobs, with nearly 90% reserved for Ghanaians. Analysts, however, caution that policy incentives are needed to channel more investments into the northern and rural regions where agriculture and renewable energy remain largely untapped. Meanwhile, the GIPC says it will continue targeting priority sectors such as energy, agriculture, tourism, and digital transformation to strengthen Ghana's position as West Africa's preferred investment hub.
That was the 3 Business News Desk report. Now, President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana is open for business 24 hours a day and is positioning itself as a reliable gateway to Africa's booming market. Speaking at the opening of the 8th Africa-Singapore Business Forum on Tuesday, John Mahama told delegates that Africa is the world's most dynamic emerging market and Ghana is ready to partner with global investors.
The president noted that the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, has created a $3.4 trillion market, and Ghana is undertaking a national reset for stabilizing its economy, easing inflation, and simplifying regulations to attract investment. President Mahama announced ongoing reforms, including changes to the Investment Promotion Act and the removal of minimum capital requirements for foreign investors. He, however, stressed that Ghana is open for business 24 hours a day and is aligning infrastructure, incentives, and skills to support round-the-clock operations from ports to factories. The president outlined plans to boost Africa's financial independence, including the creation of an African Monetary Institute and linking major stock exchanges through a new continental project. He also highlighted the scaling of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System to support trade in local currencies. President Mahama ended with a call for fairer access to finance, stating that Africa holds vast renewable energy potential and is leading in mobile money and fintech, a market ready for skilled solutions but needs capital at the right price and on the right terms.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, away from that, former president of the Maldives and Secretary General of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, Mohamed Nasheed, is advocating for significant reforms in global carbon trading. Speaking at a recent event, he urged for a system that will compel industrialized nations to pay a fair and appropriate price for carbon emissions to countries most affected by climate change.
If you look at a world map, you can see that Africa is green, South America is green, Asia is green. We hold the lungs of the planet. We have the trees. And everyone knows if these trees are not there, the planet will not survive. So for us to look after the trees, there has to be finance coming into it. This is what we call the carbon trade. Now, Ghana has a tree, and to look after that tree, someone who is emitting poisonous gases to the atmosphere must pay for the tree because it's capturing the poisonous gases, and it's a filter that filters the atmosphere. $25 a ton is not the price. According to the IMF, to keep 1.5 degrees, carbon has to be priced at $85 a ton. One of our biggest advocacy is that your tree is paid enough. So how much should it be priced? IMF says $85 a ton.
That was former president of the Maldives and Secretary General of the Climate Vulnerable Forum, Mohamed Nasheed, speaking there. Now, financial analyst Patrick Abankwaba has warned that the Bank of Ghana's latest directive on foreign exchange withdrawals could push large companies towards the black market. The central bank last week instructed commercial banks to immediately stop issuing foreign currency cash to large corporates unless the transactions are backed by equivalent deposits.
According to the Bank of Ghana, such payments must be fully supported by equivalent foreign cash deposits lodged by the same institution at the bank. The directive follows a growing trend where large firms withdraw foreign currency without prior deposits, an act the central bank says places undue pressure on the forex market and threatens exchange rate stability. While acknowledging the potential benefits of the move, banking consultant Patrick Abankwaba says it also carries risks.
I think that we don't need too many directives to curb some of these things. We should allow the system to be as it is and now use moral suasion to convince these banks not to give out a lot of these dollars, not officially. Because the moment you make it officially, if someone is even doing it and is not doing it right, they become to look for ways just to survive. So I think that for me will be the approach.
He urged the central bank to explore alternative measures to safeguard the local currency.
If these large corporate institutions are not given access to be able to get funds from the banking sector because they did not deposit these dollars, what means that as businesses, they want to survive. And one of the ways that they can survive is to go to places outside the banking industry, and that can lead to money is not passing through the banking sector, and that has its own implication where it leads to certain backdoor institutions like the black market thriving in this particular sense.
That was Patrick Abankwaba, a financial analyst, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend, and Black Rasta is on standby. Do stay tuned.